Good morning. Today, the subcommittee meets to receive testimony on the fiscal year 2015 budget, request for science and technology, funding for the Department of Defense, the military services, and defense medical research programs. I want to welcome our witnesses, Mr. Alan Schaefer, Acting Assistant Secretary of Defense for Development, Research, and Engineering for the Department of Defense, Dr. Arati Prabhakar. Did I pronounce that correctly? Prabhakar. Better. Good. Thank you very much. Director of DARPA. Dr. Terry Rausch. Did I pronounce that correctly? Yes, sir. Thanks. Director of Defense Medical Research and Development Program with the Office of Force, Health, Protection, and Readiness Programs. Ms. Mary Miller. That's an easy one. Deputy Assistant Secretary of the Army for Research and Technology. Dr. David Walker, Deputy Assistant Secretary of the Air Force for Science, Technology, and Engineering. Rear Admiral Matthew Clunder, Chief of Naval Research. This year's budget request for science and technology funding among the department and the services is $11.5 billion out of a total research and development request of $63.5 billion. In fiscal year 15, the overall R&D budget increases $569 million. However, this growth is not reflected in science and technology research. Basic research is down by $150 million across the department and the services. Overall science and technology reduced by almost $500 million. I hope our witnesses can provide some insight into the choices that need to be made with these numbers. Science and technology investments have led to stunning advancements on behalf of our military men and women and the nation. From DARPA's early investments that led to the internet to the department's development of one of the most widely used drugs to fight breast cancer, these investments are critical in keeping the U.S. at the top when it comes to new ideas and new innovation. I'm worried that the budget decisions we have made over the past several years may be putting this leadership at risk. 2 weeks ago, the Full Appropriations Committee held a hearing examining federal investments that drive innovation. During that hearing, Dr. Collins from NIH presented a slide that was extremely worrisome. I provided a copy to our members and our witnesses. It shows the relative decline in U.S. federal investment in biomedical research and compares this with the research of our allies and competitors who are significantly increasing their biomedical investments. To address this research deficit, I've introduced a bill. It's called the America Cures Act. The bill will make stable investments in biomedical research at a rate of inflation plus 5%. This funding would provide stability to NIH, CDC, Department of Defense, and Department of Veterans Affairs so they can plan and execute their research programs with certainty. But it's not just our biomedical edge that's at risk. Lagging investments in science and technology risk sacrificing America's technological edge to our enemies. It also poses significant challenges to sustaining America's talented pool of engineers and PhDs in computing, materials, science, and many other fields. Advances in these fields are not just for our national security. They find their way into high-tech components in almost every household in America. Right now, we are carrying around in our pockets a GPS device. This was designed and originally discovered with the launch of Sputnik, a satellite in 1957. And when they tried to track that Russian satellite and the beep that it was emitting, they ended up determining how they could position themselves on Earth and identify that location based on where the satellite was. Now we carry it around in our pockets and don't think twice about it. That's the kind of thing where what looks like pure defense research turns out to be research of great value to us in many other areas. The gyroscopes in our cell phones, lithium batteries, the list goes on, originating in the Department of Defense. Ignorance is no shelter or refuge. I think back to that same era when Congress decided to create the National Defense Education Act in 1958, the first time in the history of the United States that we gave scholarships to anyone who wasn't a veteran. And the reason was we were scared of the Soviet Union and their satellites. And our first line of defense was to educate America. Let's get ready to fight this battle with people who are well-educated and trained and can not only defend us, but make us a stronger nation and a stronger economy. Now look where we are today. We're backing off of our commitment to research, science, and technology. What does that say about our future? How do we explain that to our kids? Extremely short-sighted. That's why we're having the hearing. I look forward to your testimony, and note your full statements will be part of the record. Turn to the Vice Chairman of the subcommittee, Senator Thad Cochran.